Okay, so what is your plans for the building?
Well, the plans for the building, at this point in time, is to kind of conserve it, hoping that one day the market will develop enough. What I'd eventually like to do is put a building on either side that's similar in size and stature to this building. Modern construction, but on the outside looking similar to the 1920s architecture. Whether or not that'll come to fore depends on a lot of things. I own a fair amount of the property out there now, and I've toyed with putting multifamily housing or perhaps some sort of shared housing for elderly folks, where there might be 4 or 5 units that are apartments for independent living and 1 unit that might be a live-in caretaker, CNA type person who's would get free rent and that sort of thing. I would like to see this building have a commercial use on the first floor and flexible use that could be business or office or residential on the second floor. But for right now, that's out of my money and not my budget. Nobody's beating the door down with a great development plan in cash. So the short-term goal is the previous owner had made the whole building into self-storage, which is what you see down that hallway. I still have a few tenants on that. I don't have many. I run a handyman company. We had our offices in Greensboro. The goal is to fix this up for their office right now, and that'll be Andy on Call's office. And then the space back in there is kind of my caretaker space and my apartment. And I take real good care of my few tenants. And upstairs right now is empty except, well, it's not empty, but I have storage in there that's very long term, and basically the only access is my people use the elevator and we take it up and down, and it's not something people can walk in and walk out of like the self-storage unit. But eventually that's what I'd like to see. And back in the late 90s, that looked like a reasonably promising plan until we got about to 2008. And then, with the challenges to the furniture market and so on, the gaga that was going on in the late 90s has sure slowed down.
Yeah.
And I'm open to, if somebody's got a better idea, I'd sure like to listen to it. But I would like to see a mix, and I think what it'd have to be is a mix of commercial and residential in the block. And the thing that we alluded to, that Del Ray spoke about, parking and access have to be part of that solution. But that area around the back, I think, could do a lot of that with reworking a traffic flow and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I got a guy sent me a photograph that in 1949, that was a playground. They had they turned it into a playground for the children that were living here. And you can see the backside of all the buildings, but yeah, that was... It's a very grainy, it's from the newspaper. It was his original article from the paper. So I've got to get the actual print from the newspaper because it's not...
Right.
It's not good enough to do anything with, because it's very grainy, but I need to get it.
Well, I would, I would love to see that, because at one point I tried to find something through the museum, and we just couldn't, it wasn't organized well enough, and so on and so forth, and I said, I don't have weeks to sit here and pick through everything.